Where do you think you're going? You want me to do something, Mother? I need you to not run about like a hooligan. We have company arriving any cycle now. The Lord Commander of Voss. Surely you don't require my company. The Lord Commander of Voss designs to visit our home, and by Primus you will be attending. Figurehead. Former Lord Commander, figurehead. And please don't use that false modesty on me. I'm well aware that all your time is spent making certain nobody designs to anything when they come here. If she hadn't wisely decided to spearhead the SOS Energon sharing program for the less fortunate, the mobs would have burned our manor to slag long before. I should know. I spent the better part of my life trying not to get cast into the same die. She's going to be really furious now. Here comes the inevitable Quintesson speech. I did not survive Vorns of War with the Quintessons to have my own children be insolent in front of my optics. Exaggeration doesn't become you. Besides, I already made an arrangement to go somewhere else. It's quite unfair of you to spring this on me at the last minute. Well, pardon me, if Vector Sigma doesn't operate inside my neurocircuits.
I cannot predict when guests will arrive.
I cannot predict the exact moment when unexpected guests will arrive, and I know what your arrangements are, mucking about with those ruffian friends of yours. You met Optimus Prime, and as I recall, though, a very decent sort of fellow. Well, he has better courtesy than most of his station.
Station? You mean worker bots?
Astounding. You mean the gladiatorial pits involve labor? Tell your hoodlum friends you're busy for the afternoon, and for Primus' sake, buff those scrapes off your finish. For your information, I was planning a turbo fox hunt. Except that Jhiaxus reduced his city to ruins, and Tarn.
I am delighted to be here. To be honest, however, I was more interested in speaking to you alone than touring your manor, despite how lovely and fine a place it truly is. You see, it has come to my attention that Cybertron is rapidly approaching a day of revolution that heralds change for us all. What I've come for today is to enlist your aid, to ask if you would have the courage to fight for the future of Cybertron.
I was not aware that war was on the horizon, the way you described things. It sounds as though I don't know. Brutish.
War is coming. There's no escaping it. Well-informed citizens like you and I understand that despite opinions to the contrary, there's only one side that has victory assured. Of course, what you may not know is he has legions of disaffected soldiers waiting to die for him. What has Iacon got? A lot of feeble refugees and a council of decrepit old bots, counting down the days to oblivion.
That's a rather harsh view of the circumstances.
But not without the ring of truth, eh? A band of fanatics is practically unconquerable.
Isn't it obvious to you that I'm no fanatic? But you asked me to join you, and Night Megs, all the same.
Of course, and I shall tell you why. Because an army of fanatics lacks the discipline that comes naturally to bots like you and I. And someday they'll grow tired of Night Megs, especially once they realize that it can't land them total victory as you and I can.
Join the side most likely to win. I've never been in a full-scale war, but Mother had. And she's scared by so many years of living under the losing side. At least before the Quintessons finally gave up and left. And I began to think maybe Jhiaxus was right. I'll think it over. I didn't. Logic is much more resilient than that. I doubt myself. I doubted my decision. And almost every day afterward. The only thing I could settle on. The only thing that I could think to myself. Repeat to myself in the darkness when all I had is myself and my thoughts alone. Was this. It was better to endure the pain of constant conflict between my logic circuits and my spark than live in life in ease without a soul. Wasn't it? There is one thing I know absolutely to the core of my spark. Someday I'll get the recognition I deserve. A revolution is only as successful as its successors, and I intended to take our cause into the future. Night Megs' brutish power will only take the cause so far. After that, it will be up to me Even now, I think I am glad that Voss was destroyed, even if it was my city. I had no illusions about what my place in the hierarchy really was. I was a pawn of other bots who preferred to work in the shadows. I decided something back then that has shaped my life ever since. I decided I will never go back to that life again. I will never be a pawn to anyone ever again. If I have to die trying, I will rise to supreme command someday. He was polite enough, that was true. But something about his demeanor suggested that he was hesitant to join.
Perhaps it was to be expected. He lived his whole life in luxury, and was still too young to participate in civic affairs. Night Megs seemed less than enthusiastic about my plan to garner support in Iacon's power community.
Slipstream seemed to think that Night Megs was too distracted by the overwhelming obligations to pay attention to my proposal.
I wasn't sure one way or the other. When I told him about the distinct advantage we would have by dividing Iacon into factions, he seemed non-committal. Yet he gave me permission to implement my plan, and that was all the approval I needed. I always knew Night Megs was the guarded sort.
I left Peridron and Windblade to go meet with Jhiaxus. Back then, I thought he held himself apart because that was just his personality. I know better now. He keeps his comrades in the dark because it's the only way he can keep control over them. The only way a brutish tyrant keeps control over his betters is by killing them off or keeping a tight leash on them. I suppose I should be thankful if he opted for the latter in my case. Sometimes I wonder if it's something to be thankful for at all. Night Megs is a fraud. Utterly, completely. And you hate him with every circuit in your body. He has all the form and none of the substance. This alone would not be enough to merit such a reaction from me. Primus knows that I've met more than enough of holochests in my time. What aggravates me is that no one else sees how ridiculous he truly is. Short-sighted fools like Raksha and sycophantic drones like Acid Storm are wholly intoxicated by the very idea of Night Megs, without realizing he is a little else. Though in Acid Storm's case, I'm sure it owes more to a lack of processing power. It sickens me to watch them fawn all over him. If only someone would clear the feedback from their optics, they'd quickly abandon him and his thuggish methods. I knew this even then in the beginning, though if I had the chance to do it over again, I would choose my actions differently. Not that I doubt my future success. Success is inevitable, so long as Night Megs meets his inevitable defeat first. But if I had chosen more carefully, I would already be enjoying success, and Night Megs would have been long reduced to scrap by now. No reasonable being would choose slag over steel. Obviously, I had miscalculated his capacity to comprehend words with more than one syllable. Night Megs says we're going to hit Iacon someday soon.
Is your alt mode a non-directional transmitter, or are you just stupid?
The way he looked at me in response told me all I needed to know about his understanding. Outside of our bunker, I heard the unmistakable sound of acid storms, percussive weapons blasting something on the street outside. I began to realize that my faith in the capabilities of my comrades was misplaced, and looked at Raksha, who looked as stupid as a drone, utterly confused by the noise. No wonder Night Megs had been so successful. He managed to recruit every single Cybertronian who possessed not a trace of higher cognitive abilities, except for me. I thought about Night Megs' plan to hit Iacon and take revenge, and asked revenge for what? I had said that he announced his plan to the small group that he had gathered together to make as generals. The destruction of Tarn had nothing to do with Iacon. An excellent point. Night Megs should have admitted he was in the company of intellectual superiors.
Here's the plan. We hit Iacon and take revenge!
Revenge for what? The destruction of Tarn had nothing to do with Iacon. Revenge.
We will attack Iacon. It's the key to our long-term success.
Ridiculous! Why not attack Polyax? Iacon gives its energy away for nothing. Shockwave hands it away in the fortress of his. Destroy Shockwave. We should be in the ideal position to take the rest of the planet.
How was I supposed to know that Shockwave had already succumbed to Night Megs' inexplicable charisma? I couldn't have known. And Night Megs never once told me, never once informed the ones he pretended to trust about any of it. He never told any of us. I look at the Decepticons like Raksha and Slipstream and wonder, why would they follow him so blindly? He keeps us all in the dark, even now. And they still follow. How can they not realize how poor and petty a leader, as he refuses to share vital information with his supporting officers? Now I know all too well, Night Megs will never give me the recognition I deserve. There's no room in his spark for anyone besides himself. But he won't be able to deny it forever.
This I know as surely as I know anything, as surely as I can see the very picture of the future, when I darken my optics, in the moment when it is just me and my logical mind thinking on the inevitable. There will come a time when Night Megs will not be able to deny me, because the very first opportunity I get to cast him out of his kingly role, I will. The moment he looks at me from the ground where I have crushed him, that is the moment he will know me as his superior. Logic dictates it'll be so, and logic is always proven right in the end, isn't it?
I know you're a child of Starscream, Slipstream, but come on. You said that right in front of my face. I turned down another assignment today, like I did yesterday, and the day before, and I'll do it tomorrow, and the next. I'm just not the offensive type. Now you, on the other hand, have the offensive thing down pat.
I really don't want to go out on missions. Although I've tried to explain it, they really don't understand. Someone has to stay and guard the Ark. We can't all be rural equine-mounted wielders of firearms. Despite once. He looked at me funny and said, "Equine mounted?" Close enough. Still not sure why he thought that was funny. Personally, I think I have a lot of jokes significantly funnier than that one. I spend my days in our earthbound home checking secret systems because it's the only thing I can do that makes me feel like I'm not wasting my time.
I don't like to go out on missions. I don't like to hunt Decepticons. I like to check our defenses, because as much as I enjoy the company of my comrades, they're slagging idiots that think they can all leave and just leave the place go unguarded. Well, Owen's got to be the worst. No long-term planning skills, that one. He takes off his assignment so fast, I swear he'd get Prowler's first pump attack.
The poor guy can't even finish saying what the assignment is before Charger runs off like Jhiaxus in a fistfight. Jhiaxus in any fight. I'll have to file that one away for future use. I think about Wind Charger, nervous exuberance, and suppose it's well enough. Makes up for me. Because the truth of the matter is, I don't deserve to serve alongside my comrades.
I wish I had taken Septimus more seriously and myself less seriously back in the day when Septimus and I were working together. It sounds strange now. So many of my friends accuse me of not having a serious synapses in my whole body. That's not true. I was way too serious back then, and it cost me. Primus. It's so hard to think about what it cost me. I don't want to think about it, so I managed to avoid it as much as possible. They've noticed that I don't volunteer for missions, and they've started to wonder. I'm running out of believable punchlines. One of these cycles, they're going to strip down my paint job to the bare metal beneath, and they'll never laugh again, just like me, just like me. Primus knows I've never laughed since. I think Mirage knows. Well, I told Jazz I'd rather stay behind than risk looking as scruffed up as he does. Jazz laughed, but Mirage just looked at me, like he could see right through me.
I guess he's got practice with that sort of thing. I try not to stay around long enough when he looks at me that way, because I know what he's going to say next. I can't hear it. It's hard enough. It was hard enough in Ryle 3, without having to worry about the Decepticons. Way back when there were no Decepticons. Back before Night Megs. Before war. Before death and misery, and the end of laughter. Just me and Septimus and his assignment. His assignment. I can't think of her as Nightshade anymore. Septimus was a researcher working on quantum singularities. He thought if he could figure out how to harness the power of a black hole somehow, he could solve the energy problems that Cybertron was starting to face. The timing for his research couldn't have been better. I got a news transmission from home. Nightshade said. I know she missed home. One day, when there was news transmissions, she was happy, but not that day.
Yes, Nightshade said. I know what I was doing when she said that. I was replacing a burnt-out relay circuit in one of my guns. I picked up the soldering tool and listened to Nightshade report the news. Voss and Tarn are destroyed. Destroyed? But I can't believe that. It's not like they were factories. They were cities, for primacy's sake. Wow. Damn me to the abyss. I said it because I regretted that I missed what had surely been a spectacular explosion. You know how much kinetic energy it would take to level a city that size? Much less 2 whole cities? That's all you think about? Blowing things up? I'm a breaker, not a mender. Huh. Primus, I thought I was so clever.
As if we need shock troops out here.
Us soldiers keep you safe off cycle. So if anything comes our way, I'm more than prepared to blast it into 1,000,000,000,000 little pieces.
Firepower will be our undoing.
It's funny, the faces we show to keep from showing faces. Every time. And every time, I don't want to hear it. So I turn away. But if I hadn't turned away from my duties, Nightshade would still be alive. That's when I decided in the aftermath. So I turn away. If I hadn't turned away from my duties, Nightshade would still be alive. That's what I decided in the aftermath. If I'd only spent more time setting up a defense perimeter instead of treating Ryle like a target range. Not let my anger get the best of me. If some other Autobot had been sent instead of me, if I'd never been there, if I'd been born in the first place.
It's as if I'd never been born in the first place. It wasn't as though the place would have been difficult to defend, just that the only defense was incompetent. And that was me. Septimus's work was top secret. No one even knows who we were out here. What was there to worry about? I should have known better. There was no way of knowing back then.
All of the failings that turned out to be so important. I wanted to be cool to myself. But I think my failings decided none of us would have been in this mess if I hadn't got my hands on this darn cannon. It's nobody's fault that Septimus used the frame and components of a standard-issue fusion cannon for his singularity theory research. There was no other way to align the antimatter particles correctly in subspace. What I have created, of course, was the Requiem blaster.
Someday there'll be a cannon like this in every residence and workplace on Cybertron, and that our energy problems would be over. When I think about that now, it seems too terrible to visualize. Septimus never found himself staring down the barrel of the cannon, but I have. So wonder I lived long enough to reflect on it.
The cannon's unique design allowed Septimus to reflect antimatter particles into subspace, opening a dimensional link to a black hole. The antimatter particles colliding with the massive particles of matter drawn into the black hole created an enormous explosion, safely confined to subspace, which passed back through the cannon as a tremendous stream of energy. Black holes were the source of both particles. All the cannon had to do was draw them together into subspace and capture the resulting explosion of energy. On Ryle 3, they were working on ways to harness and control the resulting blast. Our energy crisis was going to be a thing of the past. Free energy for all.
A single black hole had enough power potential to fuel Cybertron for 1,000 years. And there were trillions upon trillions of black holes in the universe. I'd been the primary engineer in the cannon system, and was helping Septimus design the power harness to go with it. And I was slagged off as usual. I had all my guns set up and aimed at a rock outcropping. I had set them all up and angled in specific power levels, so that when I activated them, from out of the rock would emerge a finely hewn Autobot symbol. I pressed the activation sequence and was rewarded with a terrific blast and a shower of pebbles. The entire rock outcropping had been blown to bits. Outstanding, I said, not at all displeased with the results.
That's a typo. The comm badge irritably erupted in a just as irritated voice. Nightshade?
We have delicate equipment out here, and it's hard enough to measure our own energy output without feeling the effects of yours. Would you please keep your demolition projects to a minimum? Just keeping my weapons in their peak operational parameters. The amount of firepower trucking around is excessive as it is.
The better the offensive capabilities, the better the defensive capabilities. That's what I say. There was no answer as the comm, but that was not unexpected. Busy scientists all wrapped up in their research. For one minuscule moment, one terrible, terrible cycle, I wished I'd get the chance to prove how valuable a shock troop soldier like me could be to them. I heard an explosion in the distance. The sound of the cannon being test-fired. The research lab was 50 clicks away, and the cannon made an unbelievable amount of noise when it shot. I heard another cannon blast. I thought it was strange. There was usually more time in between shots. There was usually more time in between shots while they measured and recalibrated their instruments. Didn't like the first shot, I said over the helmet.
I didn't like the first shot. I was aiming my collection of weapons at a ridge of rocks. It would either become a passable facsimile of the Icon skyline, or a whole lot of pulverized dust. Either way was sure to be entertaining. There was no answer. Hey, Septimus, put your audio aids in.
Nightshade, I said. There was still no answer. I climbed out onto the ridge and scanned the horizon for the research facility. My optics zoomed in and caught sight of a plume of smoke rising from the building. Primus! I thought they blew themselves up. I transformed into my rover mode and went at full speed back to the complex. Nowadays, I wonder if things would have been different if I had better speed capabilities. Not that Mirage would have been any bother over terrain as rough as Rael's was. 20 miles out from the complex, I heard another cannon shot, and then something worse. My sensors picked up a foreign energy signature. At first I thought it was part of the cannon array, but then it started talking to me. Thanks for the cannon. Your girlfriend was real good target practice. Oh, keep laughing. You're gonna wish you never landed on this rock, slacker. I didn't even think about Nightshade. I couldn't think about her, as of yet. I was hunting down the intruder the way I'd been trained. I had more firepower than most bots knew what to do with. Every single circuit was focused on finding the intruder and sending him to oblivion. I turned a corner into the main research building. What was left of him? I caught sight of him then, standing beneath the hole in the roof that he'd just blown open, with Septimus's cannon, now attached to his arm. He was an assault vehicle, tank form, and it looked like he'd been outfitted with anti-grav rockets. Only the Polyhesians did that to their ground troops. I would meet him on the battlefield 100 more times, though. I didn't yet know that. Back then, all I knew was that he was there to destroy what I was there to protect. And I knew, that was worst of all, that Nightshade's charred, melted torso, beneath the obscene angle, was hid. I am Night Megs, and I send you my regards. I started shooting everything I had at him, kept aiming for the cannon. I knew too well what an object like that would mean as a tool of destruction. Every shot took pieces out of the walls, but didn't hit him. Run, I thought. Ah, filthy Autobots. You cannot destroy me. Ha ha. Yeah. Pew pew pew. Now you get to die. Yeah. You first. It's funny. I'm not laughing. Goodbye, loser Autobots. How come I'm back? I was knocked over by that Decepticon guy. Well, this is all part of your memories, actually. You're still knocked over. Well, as soon as you come around, you'll figure it out.
It's probably a weird experiment by Firak again.
I don't know if it's Firak doing it. It's more like a shared hallucination. Is that like a dream? Is that like a dream? I hope not. Hope not.
Well, it's not how Megatron got his fusion cannon. We didn't build it for him. Ridiculous.
Oh, I know that. He got that on his own. Because he liked Megatronus so much. Yeah, he went to that Prime place and got one. Yeah, different story. I wonder why we're in this story. Reckon whatever this is trying to tell us something. Maybe it's the Covenant of the Primes. That'd be cool. Maybe. Or just in that shared hallucination. Should we continue? Yep. My name strikes fear, as they used to say. I'm going out. State your current objective. Going to spread a little havoc on this world. Open a few chest compartments and see what's in them. Yank a few wires. Bathe myself in some bots' liquid fuel reserves. Terror and fear and plasma fire raining down on the heads of all the Autobots.
Just like yesterday. Insufficient articulation of mission objectives. Request denied.
Alicom, surely you wouldn't dampen such admirable enthusiasm. Surely you recognize Scourge's particular affinity for inflicting chaos in the Autobot ranks. Yeah, I can't imagine him doing anything but kicking tailpipe and taking name. Too much thinking, that guy, not enough blowing up. He's got a Primus be damned cannon for an arm, and all he wants to do is sit around and calculate. For my part, I made certain my plasma cannon systems were in complete working order. I was going to be shooting to kill all day, because that's what I do, and that's what they come to expect. Oh yes, that's where I belong. I've earned it. I do not give out awards for year's fastest calculator. Of course, I've spent all my energon worrying about perimeter security and access codes and useless stuff I should have bagged years before. Of course, I didn't know it then, but I sure found out. I found out when Night Megs stormed into the complex with about 100 troops, tearing down everything he touched. He was unhappy. It is never good when Night Megs is unhappy.
I've become convinced of the logical efficacy of Night Megs' argument for personal command. I'm also sure that logical efficacy of argument is a thinks-too-much way of saying big slagging bot with a lot more guns than you. Yeah.
Yes, Night Megs and I can relate. Stay back and prepare to die. That's the best defense you can offer? Pathetic. Better than a washed-up drone like you. What happened? Somebody pulled you out of the slag pile in Tarn. How they know which part to keep. But only then I realized my life was a joke. They were laughing at me. I remember the rage I felt. Rage at Night Megs. Rage that never lent itself to the task of defending, only to the task of killing. I remembered something else, too. A research team in competition with the scientists I'd been charged to protect, that was using a cannon shell to build an energy-producing prototype. I knew where they were and how to get there. And I knew that if I had their cannon in my possession, I could blow away anything in my path, starting with Night Megs. Well done, Scourge. There's nothing I enjoy more. I know that if I hadn't done what I did, if I hadn't finally stepped up from that floor, started walking on others instead of being walked up on. Well done. There's nothing I enjoy more. Well, I'll just be all out dead. Because if there's one thing I know, it's the trouble with being on the defense, or I'd be dead. I'd be dead for one, left to the life that all the rest of Polyhex's unaffected citizens ended with, recycled in the smelting pool, or living by pieces in the dead end, selling off body parts to scrape up enough energon for one more cycle, or I'd just be all out dead. Because if there's one thing I know, it's that the trouble with being on the defense is that you're the first one lined up in the gun sights of a slagger like me. I figured it was sweet justice to let Night Megs aid to his own destruction, so I broke into one of his hangars and helped myself to the contents. He had fanatics working for him, that was for sure, but they were dumb as drones, some of them. I aimed toward Ryle 3 with a fanatic of my own. I had to remind myself to start looking for ways to bust in, instead of thinking about how effective a guard post in this or that corner would be. Too much thinking ahead. Always a problem, that.
Halt! Who goes there? Where do you think you're going?
Where am I going? Please, whoever you are, take the cannon. Let me go. I missed the other shot, and that's made me a little cranky. Obviously, I need more practice. You didn't like the first shot? Thanks for the cannon. Your girlfriend was real good target practice. Then I left. Then I left. Then I left. But Meg showed up and he took the glory. I left, Meg showed up and took the cannon from me. I took over the ruins of Tarn and will reconstruct it into a base of operations with the aid of Alakon and anyone else willing to scrape themselves together and follow my lead. There's a lot of them, turns out. You had to remove your base of operations to Darkmount, all because of one-armed cannon-wielding maniac. That was me. It's slagging funny, that's what it is. I don't know how Slipstream managed to avoid my blasts. Faster than she looks, I guess. Well, all I figured was, if I was already shooting at Slipstream, Night Megs couldn't be far behind. And then I found him. I remember aiming the cannon dead onto his torso, lining up the sight straight onto that new purple symbol he'd stuck to himself. I remember sneering at him and thinking that I was really going to enjoy blowing him away. Before you fire, tell me why it is that you've gone across the galaxy and back just to shoot me. Wait a minute. How'd you know that? I know a great many things. But how much do you know? For example, how much do you know about your intended target? If by intended do you mean slagging skids, then nothing. And I really don't care. I came here to kill you. Why was that again? Well, you tried to kill me, or my memory is in that other guy. I never tried to kill you. You were the only being I left alive in the complex. You were the only one to demonstrate even a modicum of courage in the face of overwhelming odds. I wouldn't think of killing you. Think about it. No thanks. In my experience, thinking too much only gets you into trouble. Then you haven't thought about what you'll do after this. You haven't thought about the moment after the one shot you'll get from that cannon. The moment 1,000 weapons will fire on you from my gathered troops. You haven't thought about the legion of followers even now, who are hidden from your view, or the sparks of millions more that I command in spirit, if not in fact. You haven't thought about the power you might hold by serving with me. The 10 trillion times greater than the power of that cannon of yours. Huh? Huh. It's well enough if you do not wish to do the thinking, but at least try to understand the bigger picture. What are you saying? Do you want to have lost an arm for nothing? Or do you want to take it back and more? How much more? Look at me. Look at me in mind and ask yourself that question. What is going on, sir? Well done, Scourge. Decepticons, look on the misery of our fallen foes and rise in exultation. I refuse to cast my lot with the rabbles of Cybertron. And above them all, someday in the future not long from here, all Cybertron will know it. Until then, there's work enough for 1,000 beings to do. I am but one, but yet in the end I am the one that shall have made all the difference. Our world shall shortly be torn apart by war. This I know as well as I've known anything. I've known a great many things indeed. I knew, for example, the best way to gain influence was to earn respect. And I sought first after the latter, in order to gain the former. In the end, the power will be mine. In the end, the power will be mine alone to yield. Power is the beginning of it all, and the end of it all. Power is what inspires my every action. It hardly takes a brilliant spark to recognize entropy in the universe. But will none of the brilliant sparks here are willing to acknowledge, well, since the entropy is moving on a much faster timetable on Cybertron than everywhere else. I remember taking stock of our world and concluding that there was only enough energy to last another few million years. But what are a few million years to us?
I was one of the very few to learn the second lesson of power. Those who have it keep from those who have it not, even when it means suppressing the truth to maintain the status quo. My lot in life was to have nothing, and yet I shall have it all, because I alone have learned the third law of power. Those who seek only to keep what may have shall lose it. Entropy cannot be ignored, and neither can I. In the beginning they called this war my war, as though I were the progenitor of all aggression, as if I merely awoke one day and decided to destroy the world. They talk endlessly about the golden age before this one, when there was no war, no death, and it will not exist. But that's hardly surprising. The past is always remembered better than it ever truly was. They talk endlessly about the golden age before this one, when there was no war, no death, and I didn't exist. But that's hardly surprising. The past is always remembered better than it ever truly was.
They speak as though Energon were always plentiful then, as though we'd cast off our troubles just as easily as we had cast off the quintessons all those burns ago. What do they think they shall fool? Anyone of sufficient age will remember the true state of things, of the constant energy shortages, of the blackouts, the half-starved and dying littering the streets of Tarn and Voss. Destruction may well have been the best thing to happen to our cities. It spared so many the lives they had come to despise.
If the Autobots truly cared about easing the suffering of others, they would embrace entropy as quickly as they embrace every tottering notion of nobility that comes their way. They're hypocrites. And more, they are the very architects of war.
There's only fact in fiction, and this is fact indisputable. They who designed the allocation of resources, they who designed the structure of society, they who relegated the best to the bottom and themselves to the top, they are the ones who shall be held accountable for all the fuel I shall shed on this day forward. Had they not been so obstinate, so selfish and self-serving, had they considered the welfare of any besides only their own, the universe would have no need for me, and my place would have been very different. But it's too late for them. They've embedded injustice into the heart of Cybertron, and now they shall reap the whirlwind of destruction. I will give those who follow me a place of their own. I will give them the freedoms they never knew before.
I will give them the freedom they never knew before. I will show them the way to escape the constraining hordes the Autobots placed upon them. In the beginning, when Alpha Trion divided the work of a whole world to benefit his friends at the expense of strangers, he gave us no rights. So we shall carve our rights from his very casing. We shall exact our due from his fuel. Scourge shall be a model for the rest of those disaffected by the status quo. Someday, when I remodeled this world into one of true equity, one where ability counts above class, and merit ultimate to them all, then we shall look for creating a true golden age, an age where energon shortages are a thing of the past.
It shall come, but not in the way they think. Those who do not understand history are powerless to prevent it from repeating itself. This I have learned, above all else, that in the long view of history and destiny, there are those who act, and those who are acted upon, and in every life there must come a choosing point. Those born into power become adept at keeping it, but those born into nothing become adept at believing that theirs is never to experience influence. The notion that one's place is set at birth is a lie of a magnitude like unto no other, and I have dedicated my life to shattering it. I rose to greatness from nothingness at Tarn, and now Tarn is nothing, and yet I shall see it rise again. In this, the moment of pure crisis, all lots are made equal. Only the most valiant will rise from the equilibrium.
Only the most valiant will rise in equilibrium. Ha ha. Sure. I should not be at all surprised to see the vestigial remains of the former classes attempt to reassess their position.
I should not be so surprised to see Jhiaxus act the way he does. Crisis breeds either chaos or extreme stability. The world either marshals itself against uncertainty, or also embraces the pursuit of a new order. Jhiaxus was a station long accustomed to power. He will learn.
I wish to attempt to recruit the Mirage of Iacon to the cause. I want to recruit some of the Autobots to my cause. That would be a pointless endeavor, for I care nothing for their machinations. Iacon will be rubble beneath my heels soon enough. Your impatience only shows how little you understand the long view of destiny. I will tell you. You might attempt it, but I suppose you will even do it. But I care not. I have things to do that will matter in the end. I spend far too much time tending to the trappings of power, and far too much time seeking to understand its nature. I am much more of a threat than you shall ever be. I have work to do that will matter in the long term, the final days, the final hours, the moments when destiny is transformed to history.
Jhiaxus has been pressing me for a performance evaluation. He says he's been asking to know what I think of him. I do not.
All around me I feel the push and pull of the wills and sparks of others as they act on their meager desires, understanding little of the fates that chance has cast for them, more reacting than acting, or ever truly acting for themselves. I begin to think that perhaps I am in error and fault for their actions. Those Autobots, they have merely done what best they thought they could do. Well, little course of action worthy of praise. There's little to praise for letting our world slowly die without taking action. There is little praise for failing to let cooler processors prevail. When overheated sparks first threatened to destroy Voss and Tarn, they should never have let things progress to that point.
We must. But now that it has, there's only one option. Only one way to ensure our species does not suffer the same fate. We must begin over.
My way shall be the renaissance of Cybertron. It matters nothing to realize that if they had, my actions would be unnecessary. All that matters is that now, in the now, I am Cybertron's only savior. Ironic. I must save a world, but first I must destroy it.
Night, Megs, with us on it. Well, I guess my life has always been a study in irony. Yeah.
This is how it shall be for those who cast their fates with mine. Ours shall be the new way. Ours shall be the path unhidden by destiny, unburdened by any history save the history we create for ourselves and our kind. Ours is the heroic way, not the emaciated heroism of the Autobots with their self-sacrificing stupidity, but the way of strength, the way of valor, of the force of will wrought upon a chaotic universe in dire need of a guiding hand, the way of the Decepticon. My way, my world, my law.
I am action. Mine is the action to take. Mine is the initiative. Mine is the willpower.
I am the substance and soul of every motion of the universe, the spark that changed the balance of the universe and put substance into the void the first time and the last time. And all Cybertron and all the galaxy and all the universe shall know my name, and that I am Night Megs. This is it. All teams in position. Great. Remember, everyone, this is Decepticon domain. Stay quiet or we'll scrapped.
Cancel. Cancel. That is cancel. Pull back and regroup. We gotta go in separately.
Why? You see something?
That wasn't me. We must have been spotted. We're... Welcome. Don't bother calling your friends. They can't hear you.
Well...
Well, what? Aren't you going to tell me what you want? Isn't that why you didn't kill him?
It's arrogance, isn't it? Isn't that right? Arrogance? What are you talking about?
It's the only explanation. You get a report of a stockpile in the middle of my sector. All kinds of valuable resources. Lightly guarded. So you decide to grab it. It never once crossed your synapses that it might be a trap.
Just what do you want?
I want you to answer my question.
Let him go. Take me instead.
Oh, no, not that one again. I've already figured that out. I already know the Autobot leadership philosophy. For example, I know that as long as I'm holding him, I've already got you.
Arrogance. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew, pew. Arrogance. If you let him go get him. The Autobots managed to capture Raksha, sir. The Autobots managed to capture Raksha, sir. No permanent damage. Why should we believe you? You boast of having limitless energy at your command, and yet all you can do is mangle the Autobots in battle.
You don't understand the Autobot psyche, Hatling. Kill them and they mourn, certainly. But then they just build better forms for themselves. Ones with fewer weaknesses. Oblivion may be frightening to them, but at least it's painless. When they see me, they know they'll hurt for a very long time. And the dear Optimus Prime, he keeps putting them back together and sending them out to fight. The more they keep going out to be mangled, was it? The more they fear. The less certain they are of their ideals, the less they want to fight at all.
Night Spike bailed at the first sign of trouble. Thunderwing was the only other member of the crew unaccounted for. She paged for him and waited, but there was no response. Hotlink, go find her. The Autobots were at the supply depot in droves. That was their primary target, not the generators. How soon can you send?
Not possible to send support at this time. Diverting resources would jeopardize the security of the generators.
The security at the depot is being jeopardized right now. The crew is down. I need support. Illogical request. Calculations show high probability the Autobot target is in the generating facility. I don't care what the probabilities say. I'm telling you what the facts are. Calculations show sufficient resources available at this time for completion of your mission. Autobot fools, you cannot escape my devices. Careful, she's not pulling her punches. You're right about that.
The depot is destroyed and I'm incapacitated. I hope you're happy now.
My vocals still work, and I haven't escaped yet.
What is your name? Oh yes, Metal Hawk. Come closer, Autobot. She'll talk you to death.
Anything you want for an epitaph?
Yes, here lies Raksha, killed by statistical probabilities.
You're insane.
Was it arrogance? I used to think so. Now I think differently. Now I think it was desperation. Didn't they know it was a trap? No. I was too desperate to see the trap. At least they had leaders to blame. What have I got? Statistics.
What now? We take her to a holding cell, and then she go on for a war crimes trial.
You're not going to kill me. And after I thought of such a wonderful epitaph. Cosmic justice.
You're too insane for the death penalty, if we had one.
Taking excessive pride in someone else's work is not a virtue.
She's highly dangerous, sir, so you should have your weapon ready. It must be vengeance. That's what they meant to say.
We'll wait outside, but the room is monitored at all times. Night Spike's orders. I understand. So this is it? I understand. So this is it? I've come to ask you a few questions. I will not answer them. Go away. Don't you want me to introduce myself first? You. Do I know you? Oh yeah, we've met. Your configuration is unfamiliar to me. In this form, I'm sure it is. Well then, that's it, huh? You know, I came here looking for evil. That's nice, but you'll forgive me if I don't really care. I'm looking at it. Oh, you're one of those. Spare me the philosophical diatribe, will you? I'm not evil. I'm merely dedicated to a set of goals that you're dedicated against. Your only claim to moral superiority is the fact that your side made up the rules. I disagree. I've come to see the source of evil in the universe. You wicked beings, you Decepticons. If only we could unlock the secret of evil, we could cure it once and for all.
Slag off. Are you finished? Stop wasting my time.
Even if you don't remember me, I remember you, Raksha. What does your name mean? Ironically, it means protector. Which one is it? Whatever I want. Wouldn't you rather be vindicated? Someone else asked me that once. Someone you would no doubt find very evil, indeed. If you came here thinking you could save me, you're wasting your time. My time to waste. Haven't you heard? I'm Raksha, highly dangerous and unstable. I'm Nightshade, and if you think you can intimidate me, you're wrong. You should know better by now. After you got finished with me, there was hardly anything left to put back together, so they started over. I got upgraded. Now I'm on this experimental search and rescuing it. And you know, sometimes I'm tempted to think you did me a favor.
Sometimes.
Yes, until I remember it took them 3.5 Vorns to reconstruct my memory banks. You came here for an apology. Well, you're not going to get one. Terminating Autobots is what I do. It's in my job description. Not that time. That time it was beyond just a job, remember? This is Decepticon, and there is everyone else. Nobody seems to appreciate my efforts.
We're going to miss all the fun blowing up parts. Shut your slagging face.
Get it together. We leave in 5.
What's the point? Cleanup is boring. It's not like Screamer misses his targets anyway. Slagging waste of time. Hey, insubordination. You gonna beat him up, Raksha? Can I watch, please?
We leave in 2. That's it. We leave now.
Oh, she's mad. She's gonna kill somebody. Oh, just watch.
Break off and fire at will. I'm dropping to grid 6 Delta. And if you hit me with your concussion missiles cloud cover, I will vaporize you.
That could hurt. How can I watch you do that? She's talking about vaporizing me? Oh, crap. You're such an idiot sometimes. You fools, you cannot defeat me. Nothing here, nothing there. Can we leave now? Nothing here, nothing there. Can we leave now?
Not yet. Cloud cover. I'm picking up a weak energon signature 2 sectors west from you. Go find it and put it out.
I'll get it. There's something less boring to do.
Stop wasting your explosives, Ion Storm. That's what your blasters are for.
I'm under attack. Yeah, there's an Autobot here firing on me. Target practice. Yes, I want to help. Too much, too much. I need help. What's he shooting with? Found him. No, ouch. Cloud cover, where are you? Too close, where are you?
I'm almost there. Cloud cover. Find Ion Storm.
Nightshade. I'm his commander.
I have some questions about the Autobot leadership philosophy.
I got the answers right here, but if you want them, gotta let them go.
All right, but you two, stop advancing.
Okay, but are you gonna hurt them? Give me your sword. Can I watch? Please, can I? Give me the sword. Pick up Ion Storm and take him back to base. I don't get to watch. I'm not going to tell you again. Huh. As your comrades have fled. You know who I am. Raksha, an ironic name for a Decepticon.
You know what a contra quantum singularity.
That star thing you have on you.
Then you know what I'm made of.
Oh, we'll see what you're made of.
Tell me, is that what it means to be a leader of the Autobots? Making dubious deals with cons you can't trust?
So you gonna break your side of the agreement?
It would be foolish not to. It'd be foolish not to. And I'll be done with you. And then I'll kill him too.
I don't think you do that. You want to know why? Tell me. 2 reasons. First, you like a challenge. True. Beat me here and you'd be satisfied. But there's the other thing. The second thing. I don't think you're going to win. That's what it means to be you, then. There's nothing you wouldn't do to protect another. Exactly.
There's nothing I won't do to win. If you can't do that, you'll never beat me.
I won't win at the cost of my honor. She landed on him. You win, Raksha. Just leave him alone.
You are nothing. You are destroyed. You do not dictate terms to me. Your life is mine, so is his. You pathetic, miserable waste.
We had an agreement.
Whatever leverage you had, you traded away for your precious honor.
Here's your sword. It's dirty.
But the Autobots did find us. He was still functioning the whole time, in fact. He told my superiors what happened. He even told them I saved his life. And you don't see it that way? I thought, but now I know better. Oh, please, I didn't save him. I was there to kill him. But you didn't. And not only that, you made a choice. A choice not to kill him. Not to let him get killed. That was you, he said. You. Choosing to be vindicated.
No.
That's what I came to see. I always wondered what exactly happened that day. And now I know. And now I have to thank you.
What?
Because of that day, I got assigned to the Search and Rescue Division. I had to come here. I owe it to you. I owe it to you at least to try. Try to do what? Save me? You can't save me. I can try. No, I took such pleasure, such utter rapture, tearing you to bits with my bare hands. Seeing you in agony, that was sheer delight. And then I did what no Decepticon would do. I spared the life of an Autobot. What have I done? Wait, what do you mean? Do you mean regret for killing or regret for sparing his life?
Good work, Nightshade.
What are you doing? What are you talking about?
Now we got our own words recorded. Unmistakable proof. The ability to tell the difference between right and wrong is a key component to establishing sanity. And now we can prove that you're fit to stand trial for your crimes. Wait a minute.
Answer my question, Raksha. What did you mean? I bet you'd love to know.
That's enough, Nightshade. We don't have time. I bet you're dying to know. Just dying.
Just wait a second, will you? We're talking about redemption.
Listen, Nightshade. We don't need redemption. We need justice. That's what she's gonna get.
Justice? What is justice to an Autobot? I used to think that justice meant vengeance, but not anymore.
You can stop with the insane act. It won't work no more. Hua!
Nightshade came here to see evil.
Enough.
Please, I don't want to die. Please, Nightspike. I'm begging you. Please.
Now isn't this a sight to behold? You, Raksha, begging mercy for your pitiful life?
Interesting. How you take sheer delight in watching your enemies in pain. Well, Nightshade, did you find the evil heart you were looking for? I think I did.
Bring her to level 3.
Raksha.
No, that's not right at all. Justice isn't really about vengeance. You know what I think now? I think that justice is only for the evil. The good don't get justice, they get forgiven.
Wait, I'm sorry. You tried. This is unforgivably inefficient. Yeah, well, it keeps waste like you from terrorizing decent citizens.
Idiocy. But instead I'm sitting here, barely able to walk by myself.
You're here to face serious charges of crimes against society in general, and war crimes specifically. 3 of us will determine your guilt and punishment.
My guilt and punishment? In other words, you'll punish me even if I'm not guilty.
That is not what he said. Are you saying you plead innocent?
I'd be crazy not to, right? And your darling Nightspike has certainly proved that I'm sane, hasn't he?
That's a non-responsive answer.
And where's the sport in that?
Good. No need to waste any more time. Let's get right down to it, shall we?
If you want to get right down to it, then why do you even bother with this ridiculous process? Everyone in this room knows that I'm going to end up in permanent stasis lock when this is over.
Are you changing your plea to guilty, or shall we read the charges to you? Are you going to answer my question? You're here to answer our questions.
Typical. It's impossible to get answers out of you bots unless I put a sword to your throats.
The charges are Charge 1. Crimes against society. Admit or deny.
Neither.